Hello and welcome to Efficient Strategy Gaming. Today we're going to be playing OP Germany on Elite Iron Man mode with historical AI, so let's get into it here. This is going to be a complete guide showing you advanced techniques as well as basic techniques. The advanced player will not gain as much knowledge from this guide as less experienced players, but it should be a guide for everyone. There's been a lot of changes with no step back, and this is what I've come up with. Yeah, it's a whole new world, so jump in with me. I will have moments to pause where you can pause the video and just take a look at how I set up certain screens so that you can follow along and hopefully you have a lot of fun and enjoy the video. So let's get into it here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go Rhineland first. And I get asked this question a lot. What about the world tension spike? Well, you want to spike it early because world tension will degrade over time. It also gives you 120 political power and 5 army experience. So very important to go Rhineland first in all cases. What else we got going on here? Our research is going to be set up to optimize research speed and industry, as well as going for the rail guns first, because railgun equals OP. So you'll have to follow along, but this is my beginning research. Moving through the tabs here, we're going to create an intel agency. Don't have to do anything with trade. -10 rubber. Fine. No big deal. We've gone all civs, and as you can see, we've built civs in the high infrastructure areas, avoiding the Reichsautobahn provinces here, going from Brandenburg, Hanover, Thurgen, and Franken. Those are going to be upgraded to 100%, so it's not optimal to build in those provinces yet. And this is a historical build, so we are going to do a civ ramp. Going further, we've got our setup here. So you can pause the video here and take a look at how I set up the production screen. I kept all the same naval production, and then I added a U-boat at the end, and we're doing the U-boat and destroyer continuously here at the bottom. I have taken my Navy and placed a surface fleet into one fleet, and I have a sub fleet that's training over here. And all you need to do is hit the naval exercise button to start gaining precious naval experience. You will lose oil though. For your sub admiral, you're going to go Donitz, and for your fleet admiral, it's going to be Raider. Going back to the production screen here, you're probably asking yourself, where's the tanks? Well, this is going to be a tankless Germany. That's right. Paradox ruined tanks. I've been waiting for them to fix tanks, and it seems like we've been getting a lot of lateral updates to how tanks work, but nothing significant enough to where I would actually feel like I need to add them to this guide. That's right. I think that tanks are marginally better, but for a newer player and for most players, it's going to be easier to go without them. You can focus on other things. So we're going to go tankless. And I think that is the way. We also are producing the older style of weapon that's going to be used in our garrisons. So that's why that's here for the future. And we're going to be doing heavy AA. We're going to be producing only one division template type, and we're going to have a second one for our occupation. And so I'll change that when we get that from Anschluss. And the template is going to stay 18 width. We will modify this, and we will not be using artillery, but it will be 18 width. And we're just going to relax, play the game, and not worry about microing combat width. Because in the new meta, combat width is more nebulous, and 18 width will work fine. It worked fine before no step back as well, and it will work fine now. And going further here, I have organized my generals. We're going to upgrade von Manstein here to a field marshal, and digressing to the generals, I picked all generals with stats of 3 and 4. 3 attack and 4 supply. And that is on purpose. We want all stats 3 and 4 because those are the stats that matter. Planning is going to matter very little. Supply is going to matter the most, with attack the second most, in my opinion. There is a war that is already in progress between Ethiopia and Italy. So we will send volunteers, send air volunteers, and we will send Erich von Manstein down to Ethiopia. I have 2 80 width air wings here. And we're going to send them down to Ethiopia in separate airports. And then we're going to wait for the infantry to arrive. And so we're going at max speed here. Agencies being formed. Not a lot to do, but wait. Double check what we've been doing here. The 2 divisions are in Italy. Okay, there's many different ways to do this. What we're going to do is just grind a little bit of XP. That's all we need. We're not going to assign a field marshal. We're simply going to have von Manstein do his thing on his own and not worry about it. The one thing that can happen here is they just took the airport, so we're probably overstacked here in Eritrea. But if we get that airport back, then we want to rebalance that. And as you can see, we're already grinding a lot of air experience here. We're not going to get so much army experience. The best way to get army experience early is by sending an attache to Spain as Germany. Okay, we got the Abwehr. We're going to pause micro here. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to form the department. Get that over with early. It is 8 civs. It will hurt, but it will be over. And after it's over, we're going to start cryptology. Cryptology OP, cryptology powerful. I'm just going to rebalance this a little bit, and we're going to keep zooming forward here. And it looks like Ethiopia is going to be over very quickly. You can micro your construction screen here. So as soon as this slot goes to 0, it would be best to pop Rhineland up. This is because the civs were taken away from us because of the intel agency. And it looks like we got our first operative. Oh, wow. We got some counter intel stats there. She looks like she would be quite good. Own operative detection chance factor. Let's take her. I think you always get like Skorzeny, but I haven't seen her yet, and she looks really good. The other thing we're going to be able to do is get enemy ciphers. So we're just going to get the ciphers going from country to country where we're going to start our war goals. And of course, Poland's going to be first because we're playing historically here. Okay, moving along. We're checking our screens, making sure that everything looks copacetic. Don't really have to worry about production yet. We're slowly going to get out infantry divisions so that we qualify for Anschluss here. We have to have 500k manpower in the field. Our second focus is going to be army innovations, and our first political power buy is going to be free trade. I'm going to post the political power buy in the description box below, so please check that out. We'll go army innovation second because we need to get as much army experience as possible. And that will, in turn, allow us to get certain buffs to our military that will result in higher political power and production. So we need to grind that as quickly as possible. I will not be exercising. I am an anti-exercise, guys. I feel that it wastes precious equipment that I will need 100% in Barbarossa. So I do not exercise as Germany. It would be nice, but we're going to save that equipment so that we can focus on pumping out divisions here. Okay, the volunteer force is back. And now the next thing we need to wait for is war versus Spain. Looks like we can make a few more units here. We're going to prioritize operations. That's going to be the spy operations. And I put her in France. We can get the collab on France. I should have... It actually doesn't matter the way that you do it. You could go Poland, you can go France. We're going to be taking out both of those countries, so it doesn't really matter. But you need to start building up your intel network so then we can form a collaborationist government for the fall of France in whatever nations that you're going to go after. If you're playing historically like myself, then you're going to go after France first. Okay, so we're just building up enough political power here so that we could send our attaché to Spain. Before we do that, though, we're going to get Martin Boerman. The next thing that we're going to purchase here, for the next thing we're going to research is going to be mechanical computing, because that will further buff research. And the real trick with the focus tree here is that we get Rhineland, Army Innovations, and Air Innovations. So you get 3 focuses before you start on 4-year plan, and that's so that you can apply the bonuses that you receive to 4-year plan to research that is more expensive. And you'll see that. I'll demonstrate that. Oh, do we not get our second thing here? I must have missed that tab, but no big deal. So in order to do this well, and I am on Elite Ironman mode, if you play it regular and you follow me here, we should be able to get you a W. But if you're a newer player, you're going to have to follow me exactly in order to pull this off. So here's Martin Boerman, political power gain 15%. And yes, that means the political power buys need to be exactly the same. The generals need to be of the criteria that I stated. Let's go ahead and take von Manstein and let's upgrade him to a field marshal. Field marshals are still able to, we're going to need 100 command power. We can't do that yet. Psych. Field marshals are still able to act as generals. It's just their traits. The field marshal traits are not going to come into play, just the bonuses, their general traits. Field marshals can have general traits. Acting as a field marshal, the general traits apply at a 50% bonus reduction if you have a field marshal that has a general trait. So that's the magic there. Okay, radio interception group. We're going to get the second level of that. And we're still waiting for the Spanish Civil War. It's going to proc sometime in July. I think that it's semi-random, but it's not that random anymore. It pretty much goes during July. And then we're going to quickly snap up dispersed industry, because the AI is all about bombing nowadays. And we're going to get improved machine tools, which is going to increase the production efficiency cap of our production tab here. So these red bars here and this limit line is going to increase once we research improved machine tools. So improved machine tools is really good. You want to focus on that. You want to focus on dispersed industry, and there's our Spanish Civil War. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to send our volunteers over, sending air volunteers as well as von Manstein, and then they will accept. If they don't accept, simply improve relations, and they will accept because they're kind of an Axis nation. And we're going to go ahead and put our attack bombers in 2 separate air zones and let them do their thing. They will apply air experience. Fighters will not apply air experience. That's why we're using the tactical bombers, as well as the fact that the attack bombers have a very wide range. So they are able to blanket the air zone that they are in and have better efficiency, therefore making more air missions and getting us more precious air experience. Okay, 4-year plan next, and we're just waiting for our volunteers to head over. It's like the Condor division or something like that. I forget what it was called exactly. So we're just going to let von Manstein battle plan a bit here. And that's going to be fine. We'll get some XP out of it. It's going to be great. Okay, passive defense next for the spies. And the trick with the spies, we need 5 different agency branch upgrades in order to get our second spy. The way to get your third spy is have another country join your faction, and then you're going to become spy master here. But we're saving our political power up here for the attache to Spain, which is going to give us a lot of precious army experience, as well as raise our war support. So what we're going to do, can't send attache yet. Let's take that off. And then we will send attache now. Okay, they will not accept. Let's improve relations here for a second. Work back up to 100 political power and then see if they'll accept. So we're improving relations so they like us more, so they'll accept our attache. Boom, they're going to accept our attache, and then we're going to stop spending our own political power on making them like us because they did what we wanted. So we're done. The next thing that we need to do is we're going to increase the stability of our country here by swapping out to political loyalty, or clicking on that button. And what that's going to do is it increased stability and gives us, the increased stability gives us more political power game, factory output, dockyard output, and consumer good factories down. Consumer good factories basically equates to how many factories we have in the construction screen. So very OP. Now, here's the reason why we delayed 4-year plan, was so that we were able to work on construction 2 before we get the bonuses, because what we're going to do is we're going to apply these bonuses onto dispersed industry all the way down to dispersed industry 3, where dispersed industry 3 you can see is quite expensive. It's 740 there. That's ticking down because of there's a ahead of time penalties in Hearts of Iron 4. So that makes research in later years more expensive. Okay, so we're going to get our new spy in 29 days, and then we're going to start preparing our collaborationist government. And we have enough air experience where what we can do is start getting some bonuses here. So we should get air support mission efficiency up 25%. So that's going to increase the amount of missions that our tax can run. And then we're also going to go air crew surveys, air accident chance negative 25%. That conserves our Air Force, as well as air doctrine costs negative 15%. And then as soon as we're able to, we're going to get the dive bombing, which is going to further increase our air support mission efficiency 20%. So you do need to sequence that exactly as I do here. It looks like we can get like a sub or any of these upgrades. You don't really need them. So we're just going to use all this naval experience for upgrading the ships. And so we'll go over that a little later. We got 10 days on our spy. We're flipping through screens here. Oh, we forgot to do our next focus, autarky. All right, we might be a little behind there, but we should be okay. Our next political power buy, after we get war economy, is going to be Hjalmar Schacht. Hjalmar Schacht is going to give us a bonus. He's going to give us civilian factory construction speed 10%, but we're not going to click on him yet because we want war economy first, because that bonus is superior. It will give us more stuff. Let's get Otto Skorzeny. Put him in here. And then we're going to go ahead and prepare our first collaborationist government. And we're going to commence when ready. So they're going to get our first collab here. It's hard to get 3 spies yet in single player. I can hear all you Chads, the MP Chads saying, why don't you have 3 spies? You can continuously upgrade the Intel network in France and just repeat collab government over and over again. Yes, you are correct, but this is single player and we have other priorities. So we're still grinding in Spain. I like to come over and just check on the troops here and make sure that the air is in the correct location, that the troops are doing their thing, and everything looks copacetic down here in Spain. Our attaches will be sent where we please. That's unfortunate. I think that event is semi-random. I've had playthroughs where that hasn't come up, but it will mill you political power, and it does hurt a bit, but we'll get through it. We'll live, boys. What we're paying attention here is we're paying attention to army experience, because our next army experience buy is going to be OP. It's going to be state serves the military. That's going to further boost our political power. And I really like that one. Hermann Goering work next. I will post the focus tree build on the next video. And we're grinding away the political power to get that war economy. Okay, what else are we looking at here? Okay, these guys can come out. Just take them out untrained. I want to make sure that we qualify for Anschluss. I probably could have put those units out a bit quicker. So that's my bad. Let's give them over to Von Weich. And there's our political power buy. There's war economy. The next political power buy is going to be quick, so you guys need to pay attention. Checking on the spies. We're preparing. This does take equipment. That is why we have operations set to high priority, and we have the division training at low priority. We want this collab government to go off quick. And probably failed to mention, we are done with the intel agency upgrades. After we get 5 and we get our second spy, then we're done there, because we don't want to lose civilian factories. So that's very important. Okay, this looks fine. Just running around the screens here. We're not going to build trains. There are enough trains from the beginning of the game, so don't worry about that. This build is going to incorporate a lot of AA, and we're waiting for Spirit of the Army, so we need to get up to 35 to get the Spirit of the Army. We got Hermann Goering work. That gives us a lot of civs, and we're just doing a civ snowball. So there are specific times when we need to transition. Make sure not to apply any of the bonuses to any of this industry. We're eventually going to go fighter 2, but it looks like we could wait a few days. And what I like to do is, I think that logistic companies are a requirement. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Radio is going to be a requirement as well. So we will pick up radio probably next. Let's see what our options are here. So we're going to apply the first 4-year plan bonus to Dispersed Industry 2. And then we're going to come over here and pick up radio just to make sure that we get that in our back pocket. Radio is going to increase the reinforce rate 5% and is a must for any military. And hey, look, state serves military, political power boost 10%. So the political power is going to be popping here. We got Hjalmar, and the next thing we're going to do is transition to Walther Funkt. And what Walter... Oh, we didn't get Hjalmar. My bad, boys. Okay, a little late, but not bad, not bad. Okay, sometimes anarchist Spain can take out your airport here, so be careful. We are specifically doing these air zones here to be away from... where our army is operating, so that they can grind for longer. That is by design. Everything that's happening here is by design. So please post any comments down below. Occasionally there are improvements that I can make to my build, so I appreciate comments and suggestions, but do know that I've got 99% of this build on lockdown here, baby. So it's gonna be an odd comment that's going to help out, but I do appreciate them anyways. They do help out the YouTube algorithm. I'd like to give a shout out to all my Patreons and all my channel members and all my Discord participants. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. and mainly we are a guide channel right now. I had been doing a lot of live streams with multiplayer, but since they nerfed tanks, I don't think I'll be playing multiplayer. There's not as much tank micro. I really enjoyed the tank micro in multiplayer, so that was what really did it for me, and we'll just be doing single player. I'm also just tired of the power gaming that there is in multiplayer, so we're going to stick to single player. There's plenty of things to do, and we're going to have a really good time. So our next political power buy is going to be Walther Funkt. Let's check in on the spies. The sound for spies, in my opinion, is not loud enough, Paradox. So if you guys are listening, make your sound notification for spies a lot louder. I miss that constantly, and I'm sure a lot of advanced players are thinking of that as well. It's hard to hear when a spy mission is complete, so that would be a nice upgrade. Okay, so we're about to get construction 2, and what I want to get next is that railgun. I probably should have gone railgun first so that we could have gotten a few railguns out. So that's my bad. But we're doing this live, so mistakes will be made. So I apologize, but that's something that you could definitely improve. Don't get Logi, don't get radio, go railgun first. All right, just got the first collaborationist government. Let's go over to Poland and make sure that we pick that one up. Now, if you're a newer player, you're probably asking, what is a collaborationist government? If you played for like 500 hours, you probably are asking that as well, because this game is very in-depth. Well, a collaborationist government is basically a government that procs after you invade the country. And what that's going to do is increase... It's going to increase some stats here in the occupied territory screen. So if you're occupying a territory, you'll see it here, but it'll basically increase compliance. And low compliance means less factories that your country is able to utilize, as well as less resources. So it's going to increase the compliance if you form collaborationist governments. What I want to do here real quick is promote my man Manstein. All you Manstein lovers can give shout outs in the comments below. He's one of my faves. I also like Rommel. And so we're not going to upgrade Manstein. That is by design as well. And anyway, the collaborationist governments will also decrease resistance, which in turn will decrease the amount of manpower that you lose and the amount of guns that you lose to resistance. So partisans, you know, in the countryside, causing problems for you. Okay, we're starting to lose a lot of oil. So we're going to go ahead and turn off the Navy for a moment here. And we're going to pick up Funkt. And we can start transitioning to mills. We're going to start limiting all these down. This is single player. If you're in a multiplayer game, it's more like October that you make the military factory transition. So we're going to go ahead and pick that up. The Japan war just procced. What we could do over there is we could probably pick up a couple army experience by giving them the equipment that we don't want to use. So start Lend-Lease. We're not going to use tanks, unfortunately. Makes me sad, but we can go ahead and give those over to Japan. And I've not had a lot of success getting army XP from the Japan war. What we're going to do is Anschluss next, so it looks like we might have some problems meeting the requirements of Anschluss, but luckily... Oh, 500k. Okay, what are we at then? In the field, we're only 460. Oh boy. So I'll show you a trick here. Oh, I deleted the other templates. Darn it. So we're just going to have to keep on pumping out divisions. Okay, if we can't go Anschluss, let's go Reichsautobahn first. And we're going to keep on pumping out divisions until we meet the requirements of Anschluss. So it would have been optimal once world tension is over 10%. That turns on the allied focus trees. And that's why you go Anschluss, because Anschluss will spike world tension. And there's no point in not going Anschluss because it doesn't matter anymore. You can spike world tension after your 10% without fearing anything. Okay, so we've gotten dispersed industry 2. What we can do now is start on rubber. Rubber is going to be very important. What I like to do at this point is in all the Reichsautobahn areas, we'll start pumping out refineries. We will be dependent on our own rubber supply after the war starts. Per, you know, IRL, what happened. And so you want to make sure that you have enough rubber tech. The refining tech doesn't really matter much. You could just ignore that. And let's pick up some dive bombing here. And direct ground support. We're not gonna give a bonus to attack for attacks because that'll end the Spanish Civil War quicker. And what we want to do is just grind it out. So we don't want to do that just yet. All right. The next thing we're going to pick up is Messerschmitt, and then we're going to start researching Fighter 2. Fighter 2 is going to be instrumental in winning the air war against the Allies. The Allies get a lot of bonuses, particularly UK, to pumping out fighters. So it can be really scary, the air war. It can be really hard to win the air war unless you have enough fighters and unless your fighters are good enough. Okay, we now have 0 oil, so let's fix that real quick. Iran is my go-to. I guess we could pump up, let's go Romania, because they're going to be our ally here soon enough. Okay, we got Reichsautobahn. We should be able to pump out more troops shortly. Let's get that Fighter 2 going. Okay, almost up to 500 to meet the qualifications of Anschluss. Sorry, guys, I'm not very good at pronouncing Anschluss. I've had a lot of comments over the years, but I do my best. And it looks like we're going to be a little delayed. Let's go ahead and pump this up. Let's get engineering company first. There we go. And now we should be able to get Anschluss, no problem. And we've got another political power by here. We're going to get Messerschmitt. And that will automatically apply to your fighter research and make fighter research quicker. So 637, that is a lot, but we just need to get that Fighter 2 out as, you know, the Battle of Poland starts. Okay, it looks like we can prepare our collab government. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and back off on the training here and make sure that all the equipment goes to operations. We could even get that equipment over to operations faster and then just toggle this on and off. And we're still getting France cipher. We're double checking ourselves as we go. I know I'm going quite fast, but that's just for the demonstration purposes of this guide. And we got Dora. Okay, perfect. Ooh, I'd love to have Logi 2. Negative 10% supply usage. That's going to be really good for us to have. We'll give those to my man Witzelbin. Also one of my faves. And then we need to make sure that we apply Dora here and that we are pumping out railguns continuously. Just make it continuous there. Let's do something like that. And we can actually fix our rubber problem. We can ask Malaya for some rubber. France invites us to the non-intervention committee. Okay, so this is a semi-random event that comes up. I'm not quite sure if that's going to affect our playthrough here, but it was affecting the OP USSR build. And I don't know how that's going to affect this, because on all my other playthroughs, that did not come up. It seems to come up about 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 times. Oh, the other thing I want to do, we're going to start assigning air wings to armies and just let the AI control the air. Because it can be a bit micro-intensive. I know that there are newer players and the micro can be overwhelming. I just clicked on the air wing and then applied it to one of the generals, so the AI will control that. Okay, next problem that we're going to face is we need to get more troops out to go demand Sudetenland. So we're going to go reassert Eastern claims first. It would be better if we could start Fate of Czechoslovakia, but we're not going to do that yet. Let's get some iron from Sweden. And then let's also get some tungsten from Turkey. Okay, Mauser is going to be our next political power buy. And then our next research is going to be rubber processing, and then we'll switch over to Mauser. Always approve the sale of bombers from our reserves. That is going to buff our construction by giving us -5% consumer goods. And we got that rubber processing, and we want to make sure we get the next level of rubber processing, because we're going to get a bonus through focus tree later that we will apply. At this point, we could improve our TAC bombers. It looks like we're going to cap out at 500 our air experience. So what we could do with our bomber here is just like increase the engine. So we'll do an upgrade like this: an engine, 1 in reliability and 1 in range, just to take out 140, so that we're not completely capped there with our air XP. And we're just waiting to get our air doctrine, so that the armies down here don't push. And so the next transition is going to be, we're going to need to get fighters, and then more tax, and then cheap infantry equipment for our occupation forces. And so there's going to be a lot to micro here. So make sure to hit that space bar, which will give you a pause. See how the collabs are going. Pretty much, if you could get a collab on Poland and France, you're good to go. You don't really need to worry too much. But the more collabs that you can get off, the better. And the more you pay attention to your spies, the better. It's better if you get that precious infantry equipment to operations first. Okay, and we can demand Sudetenland, because we have 750k in the field. We actually have 108. But we get Lithuania, 1 civilian factory, big whoop, right? It would have been better to get Czechoslovakia first, but I didn't have enough divisions in the field. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to get... Let's make sure that we get Schnorner here, because he is the OP infantry guy, and obviously we're going all infantry here. And Schnorner is going to increase infantry division attack 10% and division defense 15%, so quite good. Okay, this is going to be done in 4 days. And then what we could do is we could get our second collab on France. So let's make sure to do that. 2 collabs on France is pretty good. 3, probably not necessary. You get a lot of compliance, you know, every collab that you get, but you only need like 30% compliance, which 2 collabs you should get to very quickly. Give me that precious rubber. And it looks like we got 4 more mills coming out. So that'll be to right there. That'll be fine. And we should start becoming rubber independent after that. I just like closing those screens. Nationalist Spain is done. That's a bad thing because that we were grinding, but that's okay. And our air wings should have been returned to us. See if we could get Italy in the faction. That would be good. We do a nifty little non-aggression pact there. Gonna go first Vienna Award next. Okay. They will not join us. And it will increase world tension, but we don't care about world tension. Let's try to improve relations real quick and see if we can get them into our faction earlier. I don't think that that's possible, but we'll check it out. And the 2 things that we can get here are advanced machine tools, but let's start working on, no, actually, let's get advanced machine tools. The industry is more important, and then we'll start buffing the infantry equipment later. Let's get that extra air XP so we'll participate in the Yugoslavian fighter competition because XP is OP in No Step Back. Franz Halder is the next political power buy, and these military staff members are going to start upgrading our army experience. And the other thing that we could start to do is pump out more divisions. Our forces are back. We can attach these guys to our armies. Let's make the air wings 100. The 80 air wing width was just to meet the qualifications of, you know, sending forces to another country. You can only send so many airplanes. We're going to use this button here to, it says duplicate selected air wings to quickly put out more fighter wings. And that does work quite well. So we might have put out too many. And we'll start distributing them to the armies. I don't think that there's a rhyme or reason about how to distribute to the armies. I just care that, you know, all the armies have fighter wings. And then we can get air superiority. Green air is OP. Oh, wow. It looks like I did way too many of these. Okay, so let's keep going on here. Wow. I did way too many. Probably be easier just to double click. And then literally, so they're rebalancing where the air wings are. Because the air wings are going to decrease supply in these provinces. So the AI is automatically balancing out the air wings in order to increase supply. And as you can see, they have their own orders up. They have orders assigned and everything. And we're just waiting for war to start. What are the spies doing? Spy micro is pretty intense. You're going to need to build more infantry equipment if you don't want to micro spies. And you can do this build without microing the spies, but you're probably going to need to start off with 15 infantry equipment. The build, you'll have to play around with the build. It's not going to work as well. Okay, so what I'm looking at here is it's probably good to get an industrial concern next. So we're going to wait for enough political power for that. We'll go fate of Czechoslovakia. We'll make sure to get out more divisions. And we can also assign the rail guns to armies as well. And the AI will micro that. That's kind of the theme of this build. Let's assign von Manstein as Field Marshal now. We could start moving these divisions around however we need to. Okay, so we need 10, 16, 26, 29. So we should be pumping out 29 more divisions. We'll see if we could train these guys up all the way. I think I did my math correctly. We'll see. The other thing that we could do is start promoting these generals to Field Marshal. I'm going to show you an advanced trick here. So we can promote Rommel, we can promote Dietrich, we can promote Kukler. Just promote them all. And then once they are promoted, what you're going to do is go in and go offensive doctrine, because the stat here of attack is going to increase by 1. So you're going to not able to demonstrate that yet. But when we get enough command power, I will demonstrate it to you. It looks like we got the cipher done. So now we need to do UK. Once the Intel network is up to 50%, then we could start our good old operation. Next political power by, gosh, I would really like Kesselring. Command power becomes pretty short here, and Kesselring is going to be really important because all of this air experience is going to be used to buff our airplane designs. Okay, we got some more troops out. Command power would be nice to have. We can actually start upgrading our air doctrine here. I like to go formation fighting. If you want to get aces, all you need to do is make your air wings a little smaller, and you will get a lot of aces. And that's a pretty good doctrine already. So we ground pretty well. Could do better, but that was pretty good. We're going to go for maneuver warfare, and then we'll start doing doctrine. And we're going to go all of Czechoslovakia to the German Reich. We already went reassert Eastern claims, and we're going to start on the rubber over here. Okay, we're still getting rubber going over here, and we need to start upgrading the infantry equipment next. I probably could have held off on Mauser. Now that I look back on it, we probably could have adjusted the political power order further. Okay, and we've got all these divisions that I forgot that we're going to get from Anschluss. Let's give them to good old Kukler, and then let's do our math again. 10... 13. Okay, we're going to need 13 divisions over here. So that should fill up our operations tab with equipment. And the spies can do their thing. Okay, they have plenty of equipment. And what we need to do here is start building more refineries in high infrastructure areas. So that should give us enough refineries. And then we'll start on mills, again, in high infrastructure areas first. Everything else second. We may find out that we need more rubber. And if that's the case, then we're going to have to switch things up a bit. Let's get a refinery over here. Put that to the top. Okay, that should be enough refineries. And then as we start getting rubber, we're going to save civilian factories by trading less with Malaysia. So a lot of things going on here. If you guys have any questions, please post them down below. I'll try to answer them as fast as possible. That's what this channel is all about, helping you guys out with Hearts of Iron 4. And let's start on the mining warfare here. And we'll catch up on all of our infantry tech. We really don't need to worry about the event and decision screen yet. I'll show you some more advanced techniques later. But what we do need to do is get offensive doctrine on all of our field marshals here. So look at, it's 4. Now it's 5. So his base stats are better. Aha, that's where the magic is. Can't go logistics 3. It's going to take us 800 days. So let's just focus on the infantry equipment. And then let's see if we have enough support equipment. This is going to be a little scary. So we don't need these. Let me show you a trick. We'll show decommissioned templates. We'll recommission Schnell division, and then we'll go ahead to the occupied territory screen and make that our occupation division. Cavalry is better at occupying than infantry, and there's really no downside to it. So always do that. Okay, who else needs a boost? Okay, offensive doctrine. So these guys are going to be all Chads here. We're going to be all chatted out with that extra attack rating. And von Manstein needs a few upgrades too, but we're going to wait for the command power. And we're going to upgrade aggressive assaulter, offensive doctrine, and organization first for von Manstein. Research slot is available. It would be nice to get XCAV, but let's go for construction first, actually, to get those refineries out quicker. Political power buy. I'm looking at my notes right now. We already got, let's get industrial concern. It's going to help out construction go faster. And then we're going to go synthetic rubber. And we may not need to trade as much with Malaysia yet. We can turn off this. We don't need oil. And we could further exercise our Navy. Looks like I turned off one, but not the other. My bad, guys. I should have turned off both navies. Well, we're getting plenty of XP there, so that's awesome. Let's do a naval upgrade since we have enough experience here. So let's make a variant of the sub. Let's just give it another torpedo tube and let's upgrade it to submarine engine 2. So that's going to be a better sub that we're going to use. And then it's going to appear at the top here. We're not producing any. There's no downside to that. The next thing we could do is actually start upgrading this destroyer. What I would like to do is upgrade the AA, and then the air is really going to be taking on the subs. So we're going to take out their sub-destroying capabilities. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but I'm just going to take that off, and this is going to be our variant. We can churn out more destroyers if it's cheaper, if the actual destroyer is a little cheaper. So let's do that. Put it into Hosh, build another one. Okay, so that should be good. We could also modify our heavy cruisers, our Admiral Hipper class here. We're going to downgrade the medium battery slot to 1. This is some way advanced techniques. We're going to do light cruiser battery 2, and then we're going to keep doing that here in all of the gun slots. And what this is going to do is upgrade this to a capital ship. Well, it was already a capital ship. Let's get AA2. get a radar sonar slot in there. And so this is a good heavy cruiser upgrade that doesn't break the bank. And then I believe all the upgrades for heavy cruisers are 1 armor and 1 engine, and that's going to be very important. You don't want to upgrade the engine or the armor because that will be very expensive. So we didn't make variants, so we can't upgrade those. Admiral Hipper can be upgraded. Perfect. Let's make sure that this is 1 and 1. It is. Perfect. It's going to be very slow and fairly squishy, but it's going to work. Okay, and that's all the upgrades that I think we're going to be able to do. Let's drag this to the bottom. We may not be able to get those off, but we'll see how it works. So we're thinking way ahead here, because we will go for Sea Lion. Okay, what are we lacking? What do we need? Probably be best for this to go up to 20 and that to go up to there. Air is OP. We can change out this artillery to support anti-air. For the first battles, we're going to be using just support anti-air, and then we're going to be changing 2 regiments of infantry into AA once we have enough AA to do that, and then we'll add 1 regiment of infantry. That will make our combat width 18. Looks like we just something rocked. Okay, we captured a French operative. That's awesome. Make sure we continue to fill up our armies with our divisions here, the OP infantry divisions. And basically what we're going to do is just rinse and repeat everything with the spies. And we're just going to keep going here. So I think I'm going to end the video here. But what we're going to do after synthetic rubber is we're most likely going to go, well, we will go Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact into Danziger War. And that is going to give us our historical quote-unquote playthrough. So to play historically, we need to kick off World War II in Europe with the Danziger War, and we need to go Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact to make this a historical build in the Germany focus tree. So we will be doing that next after we get synthetic rubber, and that's going to kick off World War II. The next video is going to start with the Battle of Poland. And as I said, the spies are just going to keep on getting collaborationist governments as we go along here. So they're going to get a collab government in Belgium and a collab government in UK. Actually, we'll skip Belgium because it's pretty hard to get the collab government in Belgium and UK. So I'll just go for the guarantee collab government in the UK over there. We've got a solid 10 months before war, and we're just going to really be building our army. Not much of note is going to happen, and I will post the political power build down below with the adjustments that I talked about in the video. Thanks for joining me, guys. Please check me out on Discord, Patreon. You can always become a YouTube channel member if you want extra videos. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one.